very warm welcome to everyone present out here, with the panelists. So, on behalf of the organization Meritto, NoPaperForms, we would like to, kind of show gratitude that you all could make some time for this event, because this event is actually for you all only. We do this event in all the major cities and outside India as well, wherein we try to bring all the stakeholders, industry leaders, specifically talking and discussing about the industry's best practices with respect to admissions. So we have got different kind of panel discussions happening all across, where we discuss a lot of things, right? About education, delivery, best practices. But then rarely we get a chance to discuss only about admissions. So that was the main agenda that we have gathered today. And regarding our topic, which is education leaders playbook to growing enrollments, we would start by discussing some of the generic things. Like when we refer to playbook, we talk about market research and analysis. We talk about developing unique value, student proposition, best practices in terms of outreach, how to get on board the students. Student recruitment, enhancing the student experience when the students are there on your website or maybe they are interacting with you. We have got practices which are evolving every day around that. So some of the playbooks I'm sure we follow at our own institutions, and that has also evolved over a period of time. So I'll come to the first question. Probably we can start with Ilan sir. Sir, you are part of Manipal BFSI, wherein what the education institutions on the other side they produce, they are the intake for you. They are the input for you. So I would like to you to highlight probably on how you see the entire evolution has happened for student recruitment in your case. If you can just throw some light on that.
Yeah, thank you, Subhajit. Good morning to all. All the other panelists who are sitting here generally give inputs to our campuses actually, because we are an industry academia program, Manipal Academia BFSI. Now, in all your cases, the hero for the student or the parents is the campuses themselves, because you will take them to a walk around of the campus, you will show them the campus, the hostels, the placements, what you can generate and other things. But like Subhajit updated, unlike this, in our case, since it's an industry academia program, all the students come to us with a preconditional offer from the customers. So our placements do not happen at the end of the program, it happens before we start the entire journey. So we have partnered with all the BFSI clients across the country like ICICI, Axis, HDFC, Kotak, IDBI, BOI. You can name anyone. Most of them go through a 1-year postgraduate diploma program in our campus, and then they get into the respective banks. Now, since they come with a preconditional offer letter, now we cannot tell that join Manipal Academy of BFSI. They do join respective banks like ICICI, Axis, HDFC or any other bank, and they write an entrance exam, go through the interview process with them, and then they join the campus. What we do is, with the partnership, we do skilling for them in terms of their roles, what they are selected for, and at the end of the journey of 12 months, they are fit to do the job on the first day in the respective roles in their respective banking or financial institutions. Now, when we look at this whole concept, most of our programs are B2B2C and not B2C unlike what you do. So at least 90 to 95% is B2B2C, which means the customers for us, that is ICICI, Axis or HDFC or any banking institution or financial institutions, give us the student list for us to discuss with them and nurture them and then bring them into the campus. Now, directly from the student, we do some programs for some of the customers where we source, but that is very small amount of B2C. But we don't do 12th to graduate, so we do only graduate or postgraduate to the campus actually. So what we try and do, so that's slightly different. So our marketing strategies are totally different. We partner with only the customers to do the marketing strategies in most of the cases, unlike direct marketing in the traditional educational institutions, the way they do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Probably we can next go to Surekha ma'am, and ma'am, if you can highlight some pointers on the same. So we wanted you to kind of highlight on how you have seen the expectation of the students and parents have changed in terms of shortlisting an institution, applying to an institution, and when we say that there are so many other alternatives available across the country and outside the country also, and as we already know that there are so many universities from foreign universities who are also trying to open up campuses over here. So how do you see the entire evolve happening for students and their parents?
Yeah, very good morning and thank you for this opportunity. Well, as a student today, he has an opportunity to interact and engage with not just physically. Once upon a time, when I started my career in this field 20 years back, they had to visit the institution or look for a national newspaper print ad. But today, they have multiple options. When we interact with students today, in next few minutes, you will see that the same student interacts with our current students or an alumni through social media. So today, it's all about creating a transparent education system that will make a lot of difference, because at the end of the day, student happiness on campus can create larger number of enrollments than just creating buzz virtually, which we do it. It's part of our the information sharing. But at the same time, I feel as options are plenty for students, let us concentrate and educate our academic heads on creating better environment for students to learn. So that will definitely yield better results for us as a university or an educational system. Our education system should go beyond classroom learning. How do we create an engaging session for a student of 24 hours today? They maybe 4 or 5 hours in the classrooms or 6 hours in the classrooms. Are we engaging them beyond the classrooms? I think that's where we all have to put our efforts. Our role is admissions, no doubt, but the admissions can come only when students are happy on campus. I think I would always look at that, and the technology is there today. Your YouTube is there, and plenty of options for students to get awareness about the university, but institution. But it's more about how do we engage with students, how do we create that aura inside the campus, and that will take us to a long. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, ma'am. We could ask the same on topic to Deepa, ma'am. If you can just highlight some pointers on that.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm very glad to be here, sharing the stage with the industry leaders in EdTech. And a couple of things that I wanted to highlight just to give a context about what we do in VIT Bangalore. As you know, this is the 5th campus of a very large university, a 40-year-old university, Bengaluru Institute of Technology. We are just setting up our base in Bangalore, and it's just been around 8 months that we are here. So I wanted to tell you what is the program that we offer, so that there's a context to the answer that I wanted to give. So here we have the Masters Overseas program, which is the flagship program for VIT Bangalore, wherein the student studies the first year in VIT Bangalore, and the second year is with our partner university in the US, UK or Canada. So that is the only program that we have currently. While the campus is getting built, we are also venturing into corporate training and online certificate courses. Like my co-panelists just mentioned, we get a lot of feedback from our alumni, VIT alumni. We've got more than 2 lakh alumni in our database who are regularly connected with us. So we get a lot of feedback from alumni as to how to do our courses, what is the latest trends. So if you look at the topics that we've taken currently, it's all to do with cybersecurity, AI, ML, business analytics, data science. So these are the topics that we have. When it comes to prospective students and parents, we always reach out to our industry partners. As I mentioned, it's a 40-year-old university. One of the highlights of VIT itself is the placements. So when we do the analysis every year at the admissions office, there's a feedback form that we give our parents and students. So the first thing which is on the top is the primary reason the students come to us is for placements. So we ensure that there is a constant dialogue with the industry, and we always have the industry leaders who come talk to our students. They also talk to our prospective parents, and that's how the process starts for us. So it's more like a feedback loop that we have, wherein we are constantly engaging with industry partners and incorporating their feedback in our curriculum, making our students industry ready. So that is one aspect of it. And as ma'am mentioned, another thing that students come to us is because of the campus life. So we give a lot of attention to how to make it a holistic approach for the student to enjoy their campus life as well as the academics, to take both hand in hand. So that is one of the USPs that we have.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So Arun sir, if you can just share your viewpoints on the same, please.
Yes, thanks Shubhajit. I think the topic is very apt. Education leaders playbook to growing enrollments. Admission kisko nahi chahiye, hai na? So everybody, I mean, each time when you hear such kind of topics, actually you always tend to see, oh, kuch naya kuch mil jayega, something new I'm going to get actually. So that's always the thing actually. And also the trend in the market is it is changing so fast, right? The landscape of education, I mean, and in Bangalore itself actually, because I represent Chanakya University, which is there in northern Bangalore, so automatically you have about a dozen of universities there, right? So I mean, it's in a good space we are in. I mean, very challenging space, and also at the same time, I mean, a lot of things to think about. I mean, you can't just take things as granted, right? I mean, yeah, whatever you do, everybody, I mean, nowadays are good enough. Yes, I mean, state of the infrastructure everyone has, and excellent faculty, and the placement what you mentioned, everybody does have that. I mean, you need to have something beyond. I mean, that's what actually people look forward to. And also the market is changing. I mean, since I have been part of both class as well as mass, I know, I mean, the kind of enrollments we do, it's very tough, you know, I mean, in terms of when you get into that space where it's a student choice, you know, I mean, many a times, because especially in our university, it's a liberal education university, we encourage them to be interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. So many a times actually, I mean, just a classic case about a week back, I mean, grandfather, father, and the student, and both the parents. And both the parents are lawyers, and so grandfather, he's an actually engineer, and so student actually wants to take which program, right? And the grandfather says that, no, you have to take law. Father says that, no, I'm a liar, there is no use actually, you take up science along with law. So, I mean, it's very tough choice for a student, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, then they say that, hey, you are there actually, you are liberal education university. Can a student actually do a science along with a law, along with a management and engineering? Definitely doable. I mean, nothing is impossible in this earth actually. But the only thing is, yes, I mean, it's like a Bahubali platter, you know. I mean, you have so much of things available, and what to choose, what not to choose, right? And also, when the selection is such that actually you want best of the best. So, good space to be in, and yeah, I mean, thanks to the NoPaperForm, which at least we are more familiar with than Meritto. I mean, it doesn't come naturally to us. NoPaperForm comes easily because right from day one we are with, that's what Naman I was seeing actually. I mean, he was mentioning actually, yes, literally they used to be there along sitting with us and in our hostel, staying together, a lot of stuff we did. I mean, congrats to Meritto, the way they have grown up, right? And yes, I mean, technology helps us to do a lot of things, do a lot of experiments. At the end of the day, yes, it is the experiment only what you can do, because you're not a god. So yes, I mean, some things work out for you, something may not work out for you, but yes, being at the helm actually, working for so many years, at least it's going to help actually. So that's what I feel actually is the space what we are in. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, Ganesh sir, taking a cue from what sir just mentioned, that technology has played a very crucial and vital role in scaling enrollments all across, and we have also seen the transformation of what has happened actually in technology, right? So, starting from maybe 10-15 years back, when people were really aware about the digital marketing, social media, SEO, SEM, we were only on newspaper, radio, TV ads, codings, banners, right, leaflet distributions. This is what we started, like, traditionally that is what we have been doing. Now we talk about SEM, SEO, remarketing, retargeting, social media campaigns, all of this, that is the evolve that has happened, right? So in that space, sir, if you can just highlight how you or your university has been, taking the thing forward.
Yes, warm morning to everybody. So after this technology has been put in place, and basically after NPF has come into place, we have seen technology. I don't deep dive into technology, but I have embraced it. So having said that, now the way we used to look at the business earlier and the way we do business today is totally different. Okay, so now we do business with calm. We know where we have to target, what is my target audience, and what program, which markets. Now, a lot of technology we leverage. So you have predictive analysis, you have business intelligence, you have a lot of things have come into data analytics and all. So I know, and I say that for my upcoming year, what markets, where, how I have to do. So I feed in my last 3 years data to see how the students are basically engaging. So I also interact with students to understand which markets, how, what they look for, because these are youngsters. So what we mentioned, all those things are being offered by all the universities. And it is not that they just take them through the studies and they give them the certificates and let them go. Everybody focuses on the placements, or everybody focuses on seeing that how a student, otherwise it becomes quite quickly they are out of the business. So for an education institution to sustain in this business, it is not just teaching or imparting the knowledge, but trying to see how you can keep them engaged, by actively involving them with a lot of cultural, sports, or there is beyond academics. Our academics doesn't evolve quite as quick as the industry is evolving. So having said that, how do you connect them to the required, demanding skills of the current industries is very important. So we have been partnering with a lot of such industries like IBM, Google, Microsoft, TCS, L&T, many more. So where we bring in these expertise also, students enjoy, when it happens with the academics and along with academics and the industries. So thereby we have no such challenges, because we know how the business is evolving, so does our technology, and they are quite early to understand our requirements, and we are able to do that.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inputs. Vijayalakshmi ma'am at I am Bangalore. So how do you look at it? Which other technologies, probably, if you can highlight some of the tools that you have been using, to engage with the prospects, that would be very nice.
Okay, maybe I'll start with a little bit of background to just give an idea of where we are coming from and where we are going, what's the direction in which we are moving. So we have been the digital arm of IIM Bangalore, and very recently in the last 6-8 months we have spun off into a Section 8 company of our own, and although we still come under the umbrella of IIM Bangalore only, we now have the freedom and liberty to offer various courses which are curated by other faculty also from other places, and then offer it on our learning management system. So this is where we are going now. When we started off with single courses, short courses, not more than 6 to 8 weeks, and those were the courses that we have offered primarily on edX and SWAYAM also. SWAYAM, we are national coordinators for SWAYAM also, so we host a lot of courses on SWAYAM from our own faculty and from other universities also. What we realized was that short courses were good, but to make them better, what we did was we stitched up courses which were specific and curated for certain
professions and certain areas. Like for example, we currently are in the process of launching the third batch of our professional certificate for hospital management. So that is primarily for healthcare professionals who want to move into hospital administrative roles. We also have another program which is AI for managers. So not people who are putting their hands into AI and working, but people who are managing those people. So they need to have an understanding of what whom they are managing and what kind of work they are doing. So, and we are looking at an aviation airlines management program also going forward. So it is in that context that we came across Meritto, and to give full credit where it is due, it has made our admission process very, very streamlined. It has helped us a lot in terms of, the way it is, the way it proceeds, the kind of manual intervention which was required earlier, which it's completely negated now, at least till the point where the interested potential learners are coming, filling the form, and coming to a certain point where we need to contact them and then see whether they fit the criteria based on which we can offer the admission. Now, all the other things that other people said were their positives are things that we don't offer. We don't give them a campus experience because the whole program is completely online. So, but still, learner engagement in that sense is a thing that we are still trying to crack, because although we have the best faculty offering everything to them, how do we sustain them? So the hospital management course is a 12-month course, the AI for managers is a 16-month course. So you have to keep them at it and keep them going and because they are the whole cohort is from different parts of the country, if not from different parts of the world. Calling them on campus very often is not a possibility. Of course, we do have campus immersions and things like that. So we are still trying to crack that learner engagement, but Meritto has helped us crack the admission part of it so far. Since we have recently only spun off like this, it is only now that we are also trying to figure out how do we make our outreach and our marketing much better, because until now it was the brand which was the magnet. But now, along with the brand, we also understand that we have varieties of that brand also, right? We have more number of IIMs all across, and they also offer world-class programs. So how are we going to do that? So there is a lot of thought which is going into how do we make our programs more crisper and better and more effective, while at the same time also how do we spread the word about it. So we are still in the process. We are still probably one of in the most nascent stages of that. But I think digital marketing is what we have found has, especially with these Google ads and things like that, has really helped us, because we have, for this batch of hospital management, we've tried both. We have tried a bit of print ads and we have tried digital ads as well. But we see that the number of leads that we are getting from digital ads is a lot more. But the converse is also true, because if it is a print ad, then I know that somebody who's scanning the QR code and landing at our page is somebody who is probably truly interested in coming. Whereas if it is a digital ad, it could be somebody who has just clicked on it to say, okay, let me just find out what it is. It looks interesting. Let me just see what it is. So that turns out to be a lead, and every lead is not something that gets converted. So that is something, that area is something that we are still trying to see how we can streamline and get better at.
Correct. So couldn't agree more with you, ma'am, wherein the entire shift of this, the transition happened from the offline way of marketing to the online way of marketing. So I think the major agenda was to track those activities, to track those campaigns efficiently, so that we should know that, okay, which campaign is working the best for me, which campaign is not working best for me. So as you mentioned, lead centralization is a part of that. But along with that, we should also know that if some lead is coming to me, like let's say from the website even, right? From where the student come to my website, that is also something which would give me a strong hint where should I be doing the investments in my next round, right? So coming to that, Ashit sir, if you can just quickly tell us how you are evaluating the campaigns at your institution, or any tool specifically which has worked the best for you, or maybe since when you are using these tools, and how over a period of time those tools have evolved for you.
All right, thank you, Shubhajit. I'll start with your quote, "Koshish karne se hal milega, asli to kal milega." Beautiful, actually. Evolve is nothing but implementing our processes. So now I'd like to give a little intro about the organization first, and then I'll give the answer to your point. Well, myself, Rashida Kandam here. I'm the Director of Admissions, Branding and Placements from United International Group of Institutions. See, we basically provide from daycare till all PG courses, and our Honorable Chairman, Dr. Peter Kirabagaran, would like to convert into a private university. So मुझे इस काम के लिए रिक्रूट किया गया था. All right. That's about the organization. Now I've been listening the various points from where the lead is coming, how the lead is coming, with the various aspects of the lead generation. So, Shubhajit, I'll say like it's all about the mathematics. Okay, let's say sales. If we talk about S is equal to ISP, sales, intent, subject, and processes. Okay, the two aspects. The digital part we'll put for some time aside, buzz rakhenge. Then we'll look at the internal processes, how exactly I'm converting, because one of the panelists said conversions are not happening. At the end, we need that admission rate. So we spend 1 crore online, we got the lead to inside the campus. So how I'm going to convert that lead actually? Okay. If I take the first point, intent, the person, the salesperson, okay, whether is he intent oriented or काम करने के लिए fit है या नहीं है, पहला point. If you put there onion, and onion cannot be converted into an apple, आंसू आ जाएंगे. So first is most important to see that intent oriented person, whether he's a really sales oriented person, sales कर सकता है, is it fit for that? Okay, so the most important part, and that intent depends on various aspects, maybe what's needed for me, why I have to join this organization, whether my payroll is good, I have a good infrastructure, so various aspects are there on that one. Second point comes about the subject. Okay, it's about our pitch, the script, whatever you talk about, whether I do MBA or MCA in the future, so characteristics or placements or which corporates I have. These are all about the subject part. That's one side. The most important aspect, I believe, is the processes. Evolve is a process. So we have various processes, inside sales process, outside sales process, and without the help of NPF like a tool, it's very difficult to establish those processes. You understand my point? Okay. It's a very bigger aspect, Shubhajit. I'll take a little time more. Now, to get the conversion, every time we say our sales team, you motivate yourself, अपने आप को motivate करो. I'll give more perks, tips on closure, how to close, how to negotiate. You understand? Everybody does the point right at the end. Negotiate, closure. What best option we can give it to them? But I feel if I talk with respect to the process, that's all is 20%. Okay, to convert the lead. With spending a lot of money on the offline marketing, online marketing, we generated the walk-in generation, walk-ins inside. If we do only the 20%, we cannot convert. And I'm proudly saying in our group we are following the processes where our conversion ratio is 90%. The 10% is not possible if they are not a paymasters. Let's say they're expecting only for like 100 rupees, wherein we are charging 1,000 rupees. Except those kind of leads, we are able to convert everybody. The logic I'll say, the integration of technology. Okay, I'll give a simple concept. Instead of talking motivation dollar, why can't we talk about the neurosciences? All right, with the neurosciences, the lead which you talk about, I want an admission. Okay, 80%. It depends on I can say the P square. It's like a twin factor of motivation. Two aspects. P square, P. पहला है pleasure, another is the pain, दर्द. मानो एक स्टूडेंट आया है कैंपस में पेरेंट के साथ, अपना सेल्स बंदा इतना शार्प रहना चाहे कि judge the brain, not the mind, studies of the neurological science, what आगे वाला सुन सकता है. You understanding my point? अगर एक कोर्स बेचने में if you feel is a pain or pleasure, so think pain or pleasure, pain pleasure, ये दोनों में ही concept. अगर pain है, so customer will not take it. If it's a pleasure, customer will take it. If you are able to crack how to convert into pleasure, मानो अपना sale is done. You understanding? There, NPF kind of a tool plays a major role. Even if you can work on the neurological sciences kind of thing and integrate the human brain psychology, what kind of a probing questions or the objections the customer can arise. If you can even put those kind of write up, it will help a lot to the a person. All right. So I'll come back to you later. So we can more discuss on how exactly हम lead to convert कर सकते हैं, technology backend में how exactly we can make use of. I hope that answered your question.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. So, Trupta sir, at DSU, so how are things? How do you handle things at your end? Talk about, let's say, the tools that you are using. What is the best tool? Probably if you can just name a couple of them, maybe 2-3 of them, which have really helped you in streamlining these processes.
So thanks for the opportunity. I would also like to mention that DSU got recently accredited as NAC A+. That's the recent happening. That's a big thing for us. Now, coming back to, I would like to put in some context in terms of technological changes as a given. Okay. The students or the prospective students, the exposure that they have in terms of the information that they have is a given. It is probably the expectations of the students are changing from year to year. What a student expect, let us say last semester, last admission set of students, what they expect and what they expect this year is different. Now the question is, how are we mapping the outcomes for the students? Are we able to map the outcome for the students? Now we can't have the traditional minimum set of outcomes or experience or expectation of students. Now we have a wide range of expectations the students are expecting. So how do we see that the student journey during the course is holistically he is be able to get through the experience and reach a successful outcome. That's very important. But that's the most painful job I feel as an academician. How do you ensure that 3 years or 4 years they spend, how do you make their life better? Or how do they see that at the end of 3 years, 4 years, whatever the expectations that they came out to do the course, successful? Now, again, we need to have a very holistic approach. When I say holistic approach, obviously, a few of my co-panelists already mentioned, that starts from the program structure to pedagogy, what technology we use in pedagogy, and what is international exposure that we can do, what kind of immersion program that they can have. Because again, we are in a global village. How do we ensure that students are exposed to various other universities across the world? And also, how do we engage them in the extracurricular activities and so on? So that is where it's very, very critical. And many of the students now want to become entrepreneurs, especially in the liberal arts. They are looking at becoming entrepreneurs. So how do we enable them by the end of 2 years? Or I would say that if a student really wants to become an entrepreneur at the end of 1 year, 2 years, we should be able to allow him to go become an entrepreneur. Okay, so that's where I feel is what we are trying to do, and we have been fairly successful in that, in ensuring that the outcomes are improving on a yearly basis. And also it's very important that the number of programs that we are offering, the offerings that we have for the students, I know it's very difficult, but still we'll have to give a variety of offerings. In the current context where a student comes on board, he will ask everything and each and everything on board. So somewhere we have to sort of give we should be able to get him on board either through our academic courses or as a part of the program or as a part of the WAP, as a part of like NPT or many other things, or online education or WAP and so on, extracurricular activities. That is where I think we'll be able to be more successful. So once we finish this journey of 3 or 4 years, I'm sure that they are going to be our ambassadors. They become ambassadors, and I'm sure communication again is the very big thing. Technological communication, digital marketing or not, it's a given that we need to do. But unless we do the first part of that academic part of it, we can be more successful if we do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So of course, a very valid point mentioned by you, sir. Academics plays a very important role, and we do a lot of things in our organizations, in our colleges and universities, which needs to be effectively communicated to the student also. What the student goes through in the next 2-3 years or 4 years of their entire time in the university or the college. So we need to also effectively tell the student the new prospects about that. So I'm sure you must be using drip marketing workflows to effectively nurture the students and trying to understand the intent. Some of you also mentioned, trying to understand what the student wants to really hear and at what time does he really want to hear. So when me as a admission officer, I'm probably trying to interact with the prospect at 12 o'clock in the noon, but the student is probably outside somewhere, he is not responding to my calls. So is there an automated way where the system would be able to kind of nudge them at the time they want to hear us? Just to probably give you a small little example, wherein you send a brochure, when the student registers on your website, you send a brochure to the student, and the drip marketing can be created when the student opens the brochure, opens that email, an application form link to be sent to the prospect. So obviously through these nurturing tools, I'm sure you must be using it at your organizations. So coming to Dr. Mahesh sir, I'm sure at Zaim you are dealing with a lot of data, a lot of leads coming to the institution organically through ads. A lot of things are being done. So how do you manage them, and what kind of insights probably you try to generate out of those to grow your enrollments from there?
Good morning all, and nice to be with the industry peers here. To answer your question very quickly, we are not dealing with huge amount of data. Our annual intake is just 600. We have 3 campuses, one in Bengaluru, Kochi and Chennai, and we do only PGDM, and hence 600 is our intake, and hence we are not dealing with a large amount of data, which requires that kind of data analysis tools and all. Advanced Excel will do. So hence that's not our challenge in some sense. To give a context, we have been kind of looking at this problem of enrollments, admissions, and pipeline and all that. And in the initial, till 2021, I guess we were struggling a bit. And probably in the last 2 years, we have figured out, and we have kind of improved our numbers by almost numbers in both in terms of the absolute number of applications and all that, by 25%, and then also the conversion ratio. I think that's where I would like to kind of bring that notion of how complex the problem is, and it's not a trivial problem. Because otherwise, if you look at it in India, the cake is growing. The number of students who want to do MBA, I think somebody was mentioning about the lack of it, but I think from our PGDM perspective, the numbers are growing, and it caters, and since the cake is growing, even though it's a zero-sum game, I get, then they won't get, but then still, the game is not like a prisoner's dilemma issue, in the sense that, we don't have to cooperate with each other so that all of us are happy. We can do our bit, focused on our target market, and because the cake is so big that still, even if all of us are taking all to our capacity, still there will be surplus over there. So hence that looks like a not a very complex problem, but it becomes complex because we seems to be kind of sometimes don't look at our own special niche market and communicate with them and all that, and we go by what is traditionally. I think some of us also mentioned about 2 important things to get students attracted to you. One is an enabling and engaging environment in the campus, academic environment, and number 2 is the placements, of course. These 2 are very important, more or less, hygiene factors. But beyond that, I think we have our own niche, and which we need to kind of target. And how do we do it and convert that? So I'll come back to that lead conversion problem. The lead conversion problem is now with online, admission process. The cost of attending an interview and getting an offer is very low. So you just need to pay 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever amount of money for your application form. Sit at your home, very conveniently attend the interview, take the offer, and then just reject it. Because you will take offers from 10 different colleges, kind of a thing. So your conversion from offer to enrollment is very low nowadays. So I think one of the complexities is that, how do you kind of bridge that? Which means that, you go to target the person who you want, which the person wants also, vice versa. And then get the person apply, get the person to attend the interview, which is also a difficult conversion, and then offer to enrollment and enrollment to stay, because a lot of withdrawals happen. So hence it becomes a complex problem, and there are quite a bit of things that we are also doing, experimenting, as you rightly said. But some of the experiments are turning out to be successful. So, and one of which is actually the technology piece. So hence it's a very interesting problem to kind of attend to. Yeah, I'll stay with that one.
So adding on to that particular question, we had a lot of difficulties. See, when as an education institution, there's a lot of data which flows in. Lakhs together of data, wherein our intake is very limited, but the amount of data that flows in is huge. So how do you curate this leads or the information that has got? So we used to have challenges. After we have been there with NPF, this challenge is literally taken off, because they have a beautiful mechanism of automation. I don't know how many institutions have used. If you use that automation according to the lead journey of any student, you will have a very peaceful admission process. Right from the student coming into the system, whether his email ID, mobile number verified or not verified, or the time taken for him from the verification to filling the application, or filling the application to fee payment or document upload. I mean, lot of things, we automate lot of them through the automation mechanism what they have, through which when the student walks in, he is very clear that he has all the information. Through that, we would have spoken about our institution, that is Acharya, about the programs that are being offered, about the infrastructure, about the labs, about our students, alumni, everything. It is systematically, automation is set in that. At a given timeline, this information communication reaches out the student. When the student comes, he is very clear saying that what he is going there for and which institution is he. I mean, all those things are clear. It takes another 10-15 minutes for us to formalize and complete the admission process. So that I really appreciate NPF having that particular application where automation is to a great extent helping our institution.
I would like to add one point here, Shubhajit, about the NPF technology. Because one of the point, let's say if I intake of only 80 students and I got the 1 lakh data, so how to nurture that particular part? So you have a beautiful feature. It will automatically help to the scheme process, automatically send the reminders, and according to the content management what the university is offering. And in that scheme process, by default, the lead will be filtered. And let's say we have only 80 seats, so regular intervals, depending on your sales strategy. In a week, you'd like to send 1 message or 4 or 5 messages, or you have a pattern like first educate and then resonate and then engagement and then lead conversion. So that feature is there in NPF. It's a beautiful feature wherein we can filter the lead from 1 lakh to 10,000 to 1,000 and then convert into walk-in generation of 200 and then convert, take your 80 leads. So that's excellent, nice feature.
Thank you. Lance, you wanted to?
Yes, Subhajit. Okay, so I just want to give a different perspective. See, all of you are doing admissions generally once a year actually is what you're looking at. Okay, at Manipal Academy of BFSI, we do once a month actually. So which means almost we have intake of on an average of 1,000 people every month from different various BFSI clients, and which means 12 times we have to do this entire cycle. Now, prior to NPF, we had a manual process naturally with all spreadsheets, Excel sheets, and clients used to use their own internal tools and give us some inputs of data. Now, the team sitting in BFSI, it's not easy for them to look at Excel sheets and keep nurturing these people, because you get hardly 20 days time because they all come in every month actually. So that's the cycle. Generally, all the other campuses easily get about 300 days to plan their whole calendar, when they will do what and everything. And here, including the loan for the fees of the candidates have to be done every month so that they are able to get into the campus. So with NPF, what they did, now a data of ICSCI cannot be shared with the data of Access because each one is marketing their own strategies and they're bringing in their own people. Now with that, NPF had a challenge actually when they came inside, because they gave a single instance and told, create it as MABFSI and then let everybody apply through that. Now they cannot apply through that because the hero for the student or the parent is the respective bank which is giving the job actually in our campus. Of course, the campus is also equally important, but first hero for them is, did I get a job with ICSCI, Access or HDFC, what is my salary package, what is my role and everything. Now when they did that, so they created for me different instances, and every time they keep adding instances as I need if there are more larger clients coming into. And for each of these instances, the team is able to nurture, pull out data from the past. They're able to use both voice and data equally well, because like you can send WhatsApp messages and email nudges as Subhajit's updated. So once you do that, if people don't open your WhatsApp nor email, they're not interested in that particular requirement because they're not even opening it. At least they can focus on students who are clicking and opening it, so that you'll be able to focus more to convert more. Because to convert 1,000 leads from the country every month is not an easy job actually. It looks very easy. Scripts are different for every client. Scripts are not only the scripts, the way the course is curriculum, the way you update each student from that particular client is different, and all the parameters for the call center team which is sitting and doing the job, it's not easy. If you are from Axis, you have to change your script immediately. If you are from HDFC, you have to change it. If you are from ICSE, you have to change. And when those set of people are trying to do, they have to juggle around with this kind of work. So for that complexity, NPF has helped us with all this data crunching, what we are able to do well. And also go back to even 3 months old leads and try and convert. Somebody told I'm interested, but 3 months later, because I don't want to avail loan now, I'll avail after 3 months or so. Very easily we are able to go back to the tool and keep nudging them once in a while, and we are able to help the clients convert these people. So generally it is a joint conversion. It is not a single conversion where we go ahead and we convert the student. It is along with the customer we are able to convert these students actually.
If I could just add one point. So one thing is about getting numbers in terms of leads. But like Dr. Mahesh was mentioning, the cost and the effort involved for the student or the learner to apply and then not take up the offer is very low. So we thought, we were also thinking about how do we restrict this just walk past, let me just try applying, let me see if I can become an alumni of IIM Bangalore just by doing, just let me see if it's an easy cakewalk to do that. So one thing we tried to do to restrict that was to make the application process a little effort consuming, maybe not time consuming. Time consuming did not happen because thanks to Meritto. But it definitely involved some effort from their side, wherein they had to, actually enter details about their educational qualifications, their experience, upload some of their the certificates and experience letters and things like that. And we said that if there is somebody who is not willing to put in that effort to even go through that process and complete, then that person will probably not be able to go through the rigor of completing the whole program also. So then we could just let that person be. But if let's say that person has completed 80% of the process, which we are able to find out thanks to you, then we say, okay, 80% kar diya hai, so let me just go back and find out what stopped them from, proceeding further and completing the whole thing. So is there some certificate that they are not able to procure? Can we just, make it easier for them? Can we give them a little more time to do that? Things like that. But if there is somebody who is stopping at just, entering basic details and saying, this is taking too much time, I don't want to do that, then we are willing to let go of that candidate also. So that is the other way of looking at leads to conversions.
The lead conversion point as well actually. So when the sales team start working on that, maybe a voice process or voice recording or else a button recording, need two things. Because the sales funnel with respect to the sales telecaller, let's say they have 1,000 leads funnel or 2,000 leads funnel or follow-ups of 100, 200 if like 15 days past and 15 days in future. Is it like, I'm telling you, if we can apply some AI tools over there by looking at the verbatim, like these calls need to be now escalated, wherein the salesperson may miss out. Okay, that will help more to convert the lead. Because in a ground reality, the telecallers or the sales manager will forget to follow. So if we get a prompt, say, hey, look, you have done these many, follow-ups are pending now. Based on that, our AI says that these calls need to be escalated to your director or to your principal. So then they will brainstorm and they can convert those leads as well in a micro-level management. That's my suggestion actually.
Sure. So, coming to Sureka ma'am once again, at your organization, what are the metrics or the KPIs that you probably look at every time when you talk about these outreach activities? Maybe we can start off with the digital marketing campaigns. What are the major KPIs that you take care when you want to run them efficiently?
We do extensive outreach activities throughout the year, and outreach not limited to the educational institutions. We ensure that we connect with even the community. We connect with alumni. I have been extensively working on these areas because the branding of the university doesn't just come from the aspirant base, be it influencers like school principals, counselors, for example. The extensive outreach has been planned throughout the year, not just India, even international level as well. And wherever we go, we use Meritto services, where our students, the aspirant base is connected on an on time, the in time basis to the platform, and our the internal counselors, they follow up very rigorously on such leads, and we have a nurturing plan which is very well designed by the digital marketing team. So as a university, we generate more than 1 lakh data through the outreach activities, which happens throughout the year. Once the admission season gets over, admission counselors are also involved in outreach activities. That's how we engage them throughout the year.
So, Ganesh sir, if you can just add a couple of points over there.
Basic. See, outreach, major outreach which happens. So, we also see, very important is how you can curate the data is very important. So, let us say we have gone to an education fair. So, we have collected a lot of data. So from the time of that data entering into the system, and an automation is already triggered, so we see the journey of those particular leads. So within a time frame of 48 hours, the lead engagement or the student getting in and filling in the application form or verifying credentials, these are all some touch points we basically give importance. So based on that, we see whether this leads has to be chunked or to be kept, or if it is there, then we have systematically designed the automation in such a way. The timelines are very stringently given, saying that we are not trying to keep the data and to keep nurturing them throughout the year. So we have certain timelines within which, if this lead or that doesn't get matured to the next level, we just leave there and we get going with that. So that is where an effective communication comes into place. So your SMS, your emails, your WhatsApp communications and all, if at all you are engaging them on different platforms, NPF also has very beautiful analytics to understand which medium is working and for what type of leads, what particular programs. So based on this, we engage the entire leads that are available with us. So that also gives an insight saying that which particular medium or is working with us, whether it's a Facebook campaigns or a Google campaigns or your BTL activities or your whatever it is there. So through that we draw a lot of insights.
As we kind of got a lot of feedback from all of you regarding how you engage them. So my next question would be to Deepa ma'am once again. When we talk about personalization, right? So every student has got a different intent. So every student wants to hear something else, right? So it's not that everybody would like to hear only about placement or only about scholarship or only about maybe the infrastructure of the organization. So how do you kind of personalize your entire nurturing process? If you could just mention a couple of points over there.
Yeah, thank you. So everybody's talking about different mediums, so we're getting into communication channels now. One thing that we are a tech-based university, right? So what we tried this year is a robocalling. So I have lakhs of leads in my database, And since mine, as I mentioned earlier, we are doing a Master's 1+1 program. So I'm looking at my own alumni who can apply, and also alumni of different universities who've done undergrad who can apply to us. So I've done robocalling this time. We've done a very small pilot study to see how this is going. This is where the personalization aspect comes. So we were trying to leverage AI to see how the robo can adapt to the questions that the candidate is asking us. So it is, I don't give it a full 100 marks yet. We are at probably 70 to 80% of where we want to be. But I think that is where the future is, wherein we are actively pursuing to use AI tools to call our leads and to guide the conversions as well. Now, when it comes to the KPIs that you just mentioned, so when I did the robocalls with my team, obviously it is not a person who is calling, right? So how is at what level is the student engaging with me? Here I actually have I don't know, maybe NPF can give me a solution here. I'm looking for an API which can integrate with the robocalling system. What happens is then I can directly look at my lead score. Lead score is something that I use in a daily basis as a KPI in the counselor dashboard, I evaluate my counselors and tell them that, hey, these are the probable leads. We do it as a daily exercise. I'm sure everybody is doing it too. So that is one KPI which I definitely want your help to integrate this robocalling feature with the existing NPF system. So personalization becomes very easy when we are trying to leverage any kind of new technology. Of course, we use a lot of ML models to understand, because the data that I have is from students who are, as I mentioned, alumni, working professionals. I also have to look at, like others mentioned, I also have to look at whether they are able to pay for it. The second year is the partner university fees. I really have to see whether the student can afford to do that. So we do a lot of predictive analysis to see whether this is the right fit. So we don't make offers. We don't make offers if we think that the student is not the right candidate for us. So yeah, that's an open challenge for you as well. Please help us in this journey. But yeah, I'm a big fan of your mobile app. My day starts with the Meritto app, wherein I'm looking at the counselor dashboard. I'm looking at how many. So the other metrics that I also look at is how many verified leads and how many unverified leads. So that ratio is something that I look, because I would have done an activity a day prior or in the last week, and I would have got some amount of unverified and verified leads. So it is me who is going and checking what went wrong or what went right. How do I position my targeting, and what is the demographics that I look at? All these things are already being done, but yes, robocalling is something that we tried, but it's not there yet, because you constantly need to work on your script to personalize it to the student needs.
So thank you so much, ma'am. So moving on from SMS and email and WhatsApp, we have some new tech over here, as Deepa ma'am mentioned, which is robocalling. So with that cue, I would come to Dr. Mahesh, and probably if you can just throw some insight regarding how you see the next 5 years. What are the new techs going to be available in the market for student engagement and recruitment?
Okay, so I see tech in three maturity levels kind of a thing. The first maturity level is obviously the transactions are done properly and all that, and probably the second level is where you see the platform giving a lot of flexibility, because I'm sure all of you will agree that during the admission cycle there is a lot of changes in the tactical changes that we bring in terms of communicating and all that. and sometimes even the lead management and all. So the platform should be enabled for that change in the way it is configured. So I see that Meritto is very good in that. Even the first level and second level and all that. And third level is when I think probably what ma'am is mentioning, in the sense of we expect you to kind of give us some of these technologies in terms of robocalling or automatic chat systems, and maybe going forward, I don't know, I'm saying this is something which I'll ask back to you. What are the technologies that you see is enabling, which is going to enable the whole admission process. So that's a maturity level. I think Indian startups and 7-year startup like you should be kind of helping us with. Probably at least I will throw my hands up and say that no, I'm not at least not able to kind of figure that out. We are more focused on the managerial aspects of it, and obviously the technology. Probably I look forward to you.
Yeah, so I can just kind of rephrase the question one second and ask to Arun sir. Probably, what is it that you're expecting? Like, what is your expectation from companies like us? How we should be taking it forward? We obviously have our product pipelines. We are launching new products, and in fact, we have a session with Nikhil wherein he would be kind of talking in deep regarding what are the new features that we have brought in over the past 6-8 months. And those are really interesting ones. But then, if I ask you, like, how do you see it, and what all suggestions if you have, like ma'am sir mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, correct. Yes, as Deepa mentioned, actually, the robocalling. See, the biggest challenge, let me tell you. Normally, I mean, we're all part of the same the challenges what we are witnessing, right? So we start our offices 9 in the morning, and by 5 we are going to close, right? But as far as the engagement is student, it starts at 7 in the evening and it goes up till 1 o'clock to 2 a.m. in night. Actually, I don't know. I mean, so there has to be a system actually. I mean, we should think forward and see that actually it has to be 24/7. I mean, we may not be having the 3 kinds of shifts. It's not an operation department actually where you churn out the materials kind of thing. But still, actually, the technology has to be, yes, I mean, it has to be built in such a manner that yes, more or less the chat and other things, it is self-driven, and a lot of contents you feed into that and automatically it picks in and answers. But there has to be a system. That's what somewhere I was mentioning, that actually that the schooling system and everything has to be changed. I mean, everything is everybody is supposed to get up in the morning, so if you start the school in the evening, actually probably they'll be more than happy. But we can't be doing like that. But technology can help in lot many ways. I mean, already we have started witnessing. I mean, especially the kind of program we are in. I mean, we are not in that space. For example, we have around 23 programs like UG, PG, PhD, and the fellowship. And it is not the kind of program where actually that everybody is looking forward to. For example, I mean, some of the programs like MSW, the Masters in Social Work, right? Or something actually, the Masters in the Cultural Studies. I mean, these are the programs where actually you don't get lakhs of people or crores of people looking forward for that. It's not an engineering program. So that's why actually you need to have technology where to help, because, I mean, we have an excellent program called as a fellowship program. This is more towards the public policy, and so these are the guys actually who are going to get. I mean, similarly, another program called as the BA in Civil Service Embedded. So these are the programs where actually the customers are they know much more than and what we can tell them actually. So that's why actually it has to be more of technology driven. It has to be more of knowledge driven. It has to be, so that's why we have to get into that space where we have to make their life easier. So we have to move towards that direction rather than it is just actually those days are gone where actually somebody comes and sits and take the admission gone. I mean, these are the days where actually, so you need to be providing what they want rather than actually what you want to provide. So in that way, I think a lot of stuff that can happen with the help of technology. And I mean, rightly said by the co-panelists that actually yes, I mean, with AI and with the robotics or with whatever actually the new things that is being the chat GPT, many of them already they have started using it, whether correct or not. But yeah, I mean, a lot of things are happening and good to be there. Yeah.
Answer, do you want to add a couple of points there?
Yes, Subhajit. See, from the enrollment perspective for us, if we look at, see today what happens is everybody comes up with chatbots, but generally doesn't understand complex queries. So if you keep asking that question, it doesn't help. So we need to make a list of programming and how it will help to answer those complex queries on the AI chatbots. And also in terms of machine learning, we need to find out models which can help us with more predictive analytics, so that we are able to forecast and tell that, hey, these are the set of your conversions which out of 20,000 you call this 500, you will surely get your 200 or 300 for the month or whatever it is, right? So if it throws up something like that, or based on prediction, it will at least be a focused effort from the team which is trying to convert, especially in our case with monthly conversions. So that will really help us, because then we can predict and try to focus on the real set of people where they have more probability to convert. So we need some kind of ML kind of tool which will help us in predictive analytics actually.
Sure. But then quickly covering one of your points, but I didn't want to kind of raise the curtain on what Nikhil is going to present. But then still, when you talk about chatbots, and chatbots would not be able to answer certain queries which maybe a human does. So we have already a solution around that issue, and I'm sure my colleagues will going to kind of appraise you of the same. And regarding other suggestions, of course, as all of you had mentioned, we have teams working around that areas also as per priority. So definitely, we would be showing those things as well when time comes. Quickly
I'd like to add one point.
Yeah.
For the Sir Boss
Sure.
question asked actually. When you talk about the chatbot and all, it's like a prompt, and already we have that solution in the digital marketing, the prompting and progressive prompting and generative prompting. How to prompt for that in a different tool. The solution already there in the digital marketing. So if you can get that kind of a training, we can get the answer on that.
Adding on to that, if NPF can bring in that predictive analytics into place, at least we will know, we can project ourselves, and we can start looking at where we need to invest, how much the budgeting can be done accordingly. Because that gives us an insight saying that against my, let us say about 100 of my BBA intake, so I already have things in place. I need not have to keep spending. So that is something which is of a value addition, if what NPF can look at it.
Dr. Sir, if you just want to add a couple of points there.
Yeah, I would say that I don't know whether it's a space, but if you really look at how do we get technology as part of pedagogy and our engagement with the students, mentorship programs, how do we actually get technology so that there's an interaction? As somebody, one of our co-panelists was telling, the engagement is till 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So how do we make it more simplified? And then also see how do we enable rather this process, and also map their journey for their entire course. That is going to help in the long run. But end of the day, I feel that if we have this process right, if we have this journey map of students right, our admissions should come automatically. That's yeah.
Absolutely. So I think we are almost on the, we are kind of concluding this discussion. I would just request all of you to quickly, kind of mention the one matrix. Okay, all of you can just participate one by one. So that one matrix that you look at for your enrollment growth before probably closing for the day at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock. That one matrix that you referred to before closing that day. Maybe we can start with Deepa ma'am.
As I just mentioned, unverified leads to the verified leads. That is what I look at, because it kind of helps me plan the next day. I don't want to leave my resource without work the next day. I need to guide them what to do. I look at the lead scores, I look at the unverified, verified leads, and then I decide my strategy for the next day, be it calling, be it digital marketing. So when it is peak admission season like now, we always have daily meetings, just a quick 5 minutes meeting in the morning to organize our strategy for the day and then get it on. That is what I do.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
At Alliance, I look at mainly the touched and untouched leads and make sure the next day they cover. We as a university, we have been getting good quality leads, and I work with them very closely to ensure that the quality leads are generated so that their time is spent well on each of these leads.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Trupta sir?
I would say that the metrics of, again, it's not related directly to the admission space. I would say the metrics of what what engagement that we have with the students. If we are able to put in somewhere and get the numbers up, so that we say that okay, students were involved in so many activities, so that should individually, specifically, and map it across. Maybe that should help.
Ma'am.
So since we are still comparatively quite new on your platform, I'll tell you my experience. When we started off with Meritto, I was totally amazed by the number of leads that were coming. We would look at those numbers and say, wow, it's increasing exponentially. And then we realized that, okay, leads, then what happens if they are unverified? Are they really getting converted to verified? And then are they getting converted to actual enrollments and things like that? Also, I mean, just adding to the previous discussion that you were having, now a lot of your client base are people who are having dedicated personnel who are sitting and calling, okay? They have a team which is doing that. But ours comparatively, because we have branched out and things like that, we are completely focused only on the curation and delivery of these online programs. So in some way, I feel that the kind of support that we would require is taking from what Deepa ma'am was saying was, one is this kind of robocalling and things like that to identify whether this lead is going to get converted or not, or is it interested, is it worth pursuing at all. And then if it is worth pursuing at all, not all your clients will be people who have a dedicated team like that. So if you could offer a support service, an optional support service, where you say that, okay, if your team does not have the kind of personnel to dedicate to this, would you want to have this as an add-on facility to whatever Meritto is offering, saying that, okay, we will have a collaboration with somebody who does this calling thing, so that we don't have to, have our people leave things which are their niche, which they bring to the table, and then instead sit and call people. So rather we would really appreciate if you could add that service also onto your package, saying that do you want a team of, let's say, you could also, I mean, the client could actually pick and choose, saying, do you want a small team, do you want a bigger team? And you could also actually decide whether you want it to be very aggressive, you don't want it to be pushy and irritating also, to one point where you say, oh my god, I'm going to block, because we all face that, the number of calls you get asking whether you want a loan and all that. I said, yes, I want a loan, but I won't pay it back. Will you give me a loan? I've come down to that sometimes. So we don't want that kind of pushy calling also, but we do need somebody to nudge and check whether the lead is an interested one or not. So if you could add that to your package of things that you're providing, it would be really good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, just answering to that, though we don't offer a team doing that, but then we have different tools which helps you to achieve the same objective, maybe automatically. So that is something which we can discuss on it, and we can figure out. So if you can just add something.
Yeah, a couple of measures. One is quality applications by total number of applications by each source is very important. So then we'll identify which source is better than the other kind of thing. And number two, like I said, the conversion of offers to enrollment. These are some of the probably critical ones. Obviously, we are looking at tracking a lot more measures.
Of course. Arun sir.
क्या नहीं देखना, सब कुछ देखना है. I mean, you can't leave. So
तो बता दीजिए.
जब NPF इतना बनाया है तो खाली ये कैसे देखोगे, है ना? So we need to, I mean, it's going to help actually, because there are lot many things that can be looked in one go, right? So instead of you putting pivot and looking into ये क्या हो रहा है, कहाँ से आ रहा है, कैसा हो रहा है, I mean, it's easy that actually the moment you're going to put some filters and other things, already it's inbuilt in that. It's going to be easy instead of actually each time you not have to get into. And also, let me tell you, we're all into, the job looks very easy. Most of us, Sureka, me, or Ganesh, we all know that actually the last 2 decades we are into this. It looks easy from a distance. Somebody takes this job actually, right? It's not so, right? You need a lot of things, especially when it comes to the counselors, right? All the time we keep telling them applications like, ye karo, wo karo. Always, we do that, but being a leader actually, it always, we keep seeing that actually how to make their life easier, right? In order to get the good quality leads coming in, right? The leads are leads. There are plenty of leads available, but there are so many factors which is available, which helps you to take the decision in a better manner. So that's where actually, so we keep on checking, I mean, those parameters, sometimes it's going to help. So that's what actually the data-driven decisions always helps, yeah.
Absolutely, thank you, sir. Will answer?
Subhajit, there are two portions to it. One is we look at the UTM sources in terms of where you're investing, how much amount of money, and what leads are you getting it in terms of the converted leads. So that will help us to decide whether you spend on a particular campaign or not. But since we have monthly intakes, we have 4 metrics which we see almost every day, actually, morning, evening. The teams here and sitting in the campus, they look at it. Leads to what is registration, we look at it at NPF only, most of it. But if there is a data which is taken by the client in an offline form, we push it into NPF and still track from there actually what we do. Registrations to the assessment completion, and then assessment completion for people who have passed into the selection actually. So we see whether they have completed all the levels of assessment and whether they have selected, and then selection to joining. So these 4 metrics we see every day, because for us the month end batch becomes very, very critical, and if you miss a single day, then we will lose the numbers which come at the end of the month.
Thank you, sir. Ashit, sir, if you want to add.
Yes, Shivajit. See, the most important is the sales process, the lead nurturing process. If you talk about every telecaller or the counselor, the moment they come to the organization, look at the dashboards. Oh, I have to do these many follow-ups. I have to do, these many, depending on their organizational process. As sir said, they have different processes. Generally, everybody follow maybe a cold calling, then warm calling, then hot calling, and then try to convert into a walk-in generation, and then fill the inquiry form, and then do the counseling, and then make it admission or not taken thing. The most important is when the when the telecaller has lots of leads, as I discussed in the past, they will put a follow. Maximum situations, what they will do, they'll go to their reporting manager and says that, sir, this customer is not responding, so I'll mark this lead as a dead. Okay, but we have a lot of scope. When I personally did a micro level management of each and every lead, looking at all the aspects, like this lead came from the Snapchat or LinkedIn or Facebook or geographic territory or whatever, tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3, to understanding the lead characteristics, whatever it may be. So they definitely, some or the other comment, they will write it. Okay, I personally feel if in certain situation, if we escalate that particular lead to the topmost designated person who has a lot of knowledge, we can get the best solution out of it. That I call as an escalation. So in the I used so many CRMs and all, where they don't have this kind of a metric where it will help how the life it can make easier of a telecaller or a sales manager. Hey, person, like, look, you have done these many follow-ups. These are the comments of your a telecaller. Now, need something tool, the AI tool, looking at all the verbatims written by the customer or the telecaller. This, if you can escalate, so this is the main issue of this particular customer, you escalate it to the person who has this knowledge. If you create that escalation in our dashboards, and if that call can be handled by a director academics or a director sales or maybe a chairman, whoever it may be, it makes the life more easier for the salesperson. So is it possible to integrate that kind of a tool to create a different parameter of escalations on the board? Out of 100,000 follow-ups, let's say 10 escalations is mandatory to convert or close your lead. That's my point.
Right. So, sir, answering to your question, we have solutions around it. Probably not exactly what you are asking at this moment, but then we have ways to solve escalation. So definitely we can kind of show you the solutions, and probably can look at it and evaluate the same. So we're very to have.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ganesh, sir.
So basically, now that NPF has a beautiful mechanism that based on what we need to achieve, we can put those filters and tell the TL or the person driving the business that, look, today's outcome should be this. Having said that, I also look at the application verify to the application payment and also the new user activity. So the more new user activity, the more engaging content that is being put by my digital team, so I'm happy about that. So these are the two things what I look at it. So that is good. And adding on to one more, now that everybody is using different platform of chatbot or whatever it is there. Since you all are a technology, you all have literally gone into it. So why don't you all, make us common chatbot where the engagement becomes more active? Might be as one of our panelists was talking about robotic calling, things like that. Because when the number of leads are more, it is impossible to reach out to all the audience. So through a cold calling, kind of a robotic calling, which will help, at least we will be able to understand that yes, this can be a positive lead or a lead that can be chunked. So to that extent, at least we will have a idea saying that this can be taken forward or this should be left where it is. So lot of some of those things will definitely help us in seeing that from a large chunk of data to a curated leads which are available at our business.
Right. So I think when we try to conclude this, just couple of summarize all the points that we just mentioned, right? So I'm sure our CS team, in this room, they have taken a lot of notes because a lot of suggestions were being mentioned, a lot of things have been mentioned, how the industry leaders are kind of looking at it, and I'm surely we are going to work in that direction, and soon we would be giving the solutions to that as well, because that is how we have also evolved, over the past 7-8 years. Though, because we don't have any university or college, whatever we have built, it's learnings from institutions like yours, right? So some of you are working with us for a very long time, so you would know how we have also evolved as an organization. So at this moment, when we take care of the entire funnel of admission, starting from managing your raw data, to nurturing your leads, to managing your applications, so many things. Now we have got payment solutions also, wherein we automate your payment collection processes as well, right? So with all these things, I'm sure we are going to help you even more in the coming days to grow and scale your admissions. And on behalf of the entire team over here, we would like to thank all of you very, very deeply, because the peak of admissions right now, and you all have taken out some time from your busy schedule, and you all have come here. So we really like to thank all of you, and we wish to meet you all soon in the next upcoming chapters. So I would request Hemant, if you can just present the token of appreciation.